to show you some interesting ways to improvise. They will blow up, and as long as this is just water, this is going to boil. Some of you might be amazed by this. Hi, I'm Greg Ovens, and this is Ovens Rocky Mountain Bushcraft. There we go. Oh. I'll tell you, I thought that maybe I'm going to do kind of a different type of video than usual. Usually it's adventures, survival tactics, techniques, this and that. But, you know, it dawned on me that 99.99% of people will probably never get in a survival situation. So I thought, well, you know, most of you, I'm sure, that get out in the bush, you know, you're taking your kids out camping, just sitting by the campfire and this and that. So I just thought I'd do a video about some camping hacks. Probably do 2 or 3 episodes of camping hacks, not necessarily survival, but let's just say, for instance, that you forgot your grill. Now, that's the thing that I usually forget if I'm going to forget anything, is my grill. The one thing I never forget, I always have 2 or 3 rolls of tinfoil. I know some of you have said, oh, well, you shouldn't use tinfoil because it can affect your memory and this and that. But I've used it for years. Where did I put that tinfoil though? So I'm going to show you how useful tinfoil can be. When it comes to cooking on a fire. You've seen me do vegetables on it, like potatoes, asparagus, and this and that. There's a lot of useful things that you can use tinfoil for. I'm going to show you some interesting ways to improvise in that sense. And just cooking in general on the fire. Different things. Do some soups, eggs, whatever. Without our grill, without our cutlery, without our pots and pans. Right on. Let's get the fire going. Gotta love birch bark. Anyway, when I go camping, like I say, I mean, I've probably got 3 rolls of but I get the extra strong and the wide tinfoil because it's really the handiest as far as even cooking your vegetables or whatever. In this case, I want to make coffee, but I don't have a pot, hypothetically. I have them hanging there. But I'll show you how you can make a pot with your tinfoil so you can make your coffee. I want a fairly long piece. About, well, close to 2 feet. So, and then what I do is I fold it in half. Of course, the wind is kind of fighting me here, but so I'm gonna fold that in half. Just gonna put my hand in the middle and just fold it all around my hand like this. And then I'll fold the edges. Now I've got something that I can make my coffee in. There we go. I always have a couple of rocks handy. I want to get them heated up. Because what I find is if you just fill it with water and try to put it on here, the outer layer will burn and it does start to drip. I'm just going to get a steak going while I have some good heat. And I'm just going to use this, like I say, no grill. I'm going to cut this about here, this little knob off. I'm going to leave some on, like about 2 inches. We just put our steak on here, put it beside the fire. You can cook a steak, it doesn't have to be, doesn't matter what direction. It'll cook this way too, up and down. Let's get the steak on, just like that. Just make sure your log doesn't fall over. Sometimes you gotta prop it up so it doesn't fall. Or use a bigger one. Ooh, is that ever hot? That's cherry red. Just gonna leave it for a second here. Try to clean it off a bit. Should be enough. It boiled for a little while, and there's really nothing, there's a few grounds on top, but as that rock cools, the grounds will go to the bottom. Or I can take the rock out, or just leave it and have my coffee when the grounds are all to the bottom. Okay, now you can see that all of my grounds have disappeared now that the rock has cooled down a little bit. But I think if I want to drink it right away, I better take the rock out, because it'll stay hot forever. There we go. You know, these kind of hacks are kind of useful if you forget things, which I usually do. The thing I forget the most is my grills. And that's why I've had to improvise with this, these same methods before. I've had to do these tricks many times, but there's nothing wrong with just a piece of bark or skunk cabbage leaf for a plate, things like that. Done just right, looks like. Oh man, you're getting to be a bad catch sometimes. Just make a little spout, push it together. All the grounds, like I say, are gone to the bottom. Ah, it's cooled down enough. That's really good coffee. I'm not even kidding. Like, boiled for a few minutes. And as the rock cooled, the grounds went to the bottom. Took the rock out. There isn't a ground anywhere on the top now. So, I'm just going to heat up the can of, out of the way, Vince. This isn't for you. He thinks it's his dog food. But you know, the easiest thing, can you get it? The easiest thing to cook on a fire without a grill or a pot is a can of soup. And I'm sure if you're camping, you're going to have cans of soup. And all you got to do is just put it beside the fire. And I don't even take the lid off, okay? Because then it's like a pressure cooker. But I do take the tab off because the glue, as it heats up, and this is going to melt anyway, or burn off. And then I know where the seam is. And you try to avoid touching the seam, or else your hands, it's just like you're touching pitch. It just gets on you like crazy. So you leave the lid on, you put it near the fire, and about every 2 minutes you want to shake it. Because I've had these cans, leaving the lid on like that, explode. And they will, so that's something to be aware of. They will blow up. I've forgot a couple of times, got preoccupied doing whatever, and I've had them explode. And then you could get scalded. If you're worried about that danger, you can take the lid off, but it takes way longer to cook. So you know, I just put that there. And I just keep an eye on it. Every couple of minutes, you shake it, okay? And you can actually just grab it right from beside the fire and shake it. If it's not ready, as you shake it, it cools down almost instantly. How you know it's ready is when you shake it and it gets hotter and not colder. Then you know it's done. But it doesn't take very long. I'm going to take this sandwich bag and put maybe half water in here. I'm going to put a couple eggs in here and do a couple of hard-boiled eggs on the fire with the sandwich bag. Well, it's a freezer bag, but anyway. Some of you might think, well, it's just going to melt on the fire, but it doesn't. You can boil water, do your hard-boiled eggs in a sandwich bag or a freezer bag. But there is a key to it, which I'll show you when we get to the fire. I gotta get more air out. Gonna crimp it like this. Now, the trick is you have to have water. You see how I got air here now? This will melt if I don't pull it up on my brick here until there's no air. It has to be just water to this line. Okay? So when I got that done, I'll weight it down so it doesn't fall in the fire. There's still air. I got to pull it back a bit, get the air out. Right there. Okay, it looks like I need a bit more weight. Bit more weight. Okay, and as long as this is just water, this is going to boil. Trust me. And we'll have our hard-boiled eggs in a sandwich bag or freezer bag or whatever bag you want to call it. Even if the flames hit the bag, it won't melt. Now, the only time I've had something go wrong with this procedure is if a big spark from the fire was to land on here, it will puncture a hole in it. A big spark from the fire. But otherwise, it can be in the flame right close to the good heat and it will not melt. Some of you might be amazed by this, but I am sure some of you know this trick. So you can see now that my water is almost boiling. You can see the bubbles going up. Still there. Beside a lot of heat. But the bag is not melting because of the way I showed you. There's little air pockets at the top, but there's enough steam to keep the bag from melting at this point. Okay, I know my water's boiling. You can see all the bubbles. And actually you can see that egg moving. So it's boiling underneath it and moving the egg. Okay, I think it's spaghetti I bought. It's heating up as I shake it, not cooling down, so I know it's good to go. And actually, my water boiled, as you could see, so I don't have to like leave it boiling and boiling. The fire's dying down anyway. I mean, the water is going to be, oh yeah, I mean, it's totally hot. I can just leave it here now, have my soup or spaghetti, whatever it is, and just leave the eggs for a few more minutes. They've been on there for a little while. It does take longer than boiling them in a pot, obviously, because the water takes a little time to get hot and this and that. I'll just let them sit for a bit and they'll be done. I got one of these pop lids. Every time I open a can, Finn thinks it's for him. And then all you do is you just squeeze. It's harder with these ones that are pop-off because it's a thick edge. But you just squeeze it into a point, which is a little tricky. And then you got a little spout. That's all you do with that. Don't worry, Finn, you'll get some. Pretty good for canned food. I like cooking gourmet stuff on the fire. I could have left it a bit longer. It's not super hot, which is good. Warm is good. Here, Finn. Okay, other way. Spaghetti and meatballs. Well, it's obviously not too hot. Okay, Finn. Let's see if our eggs are done. I think they should be. See the steam. Oh yeah, they're done. There we go. Oh yeah. I actually like them more runny than that, but... Hey, Finn! I'm just doing these hacks to show you ways of doing stuff without a grill, pots, pans, improvising. Finn loves eggs too. Finn has been eating most of the food. Want that? Good boy. Okay, so I still get people asking what knives I use, and I've mentioned it many times, but I still like my Joker knives, made in Spain. They sent me a couple more knives. It's called a bowler. Yeah, they usually come pretty sharp. Now this one is stainless. I think the other one is as well. But they make some good knives, good steel, like the 720K carbon steel, which is my favorite because you can get them razor sharp. But stainless obviously isn't going to rust on you, but you can't get them as sharp. Okay, so we'll try that one out. They sent me another one here. Well, that's a knife. It's like a Rambo or a Crocodile Dundee knife. I mean, man alive. But you don't need a knife this size, let's face it. You know. I mean, this is more like a machete. Probably chop firewood with it. But pretty intimidating looking knife. Man, bear would probably even run away just seeing you holding this thing. But I will use these knives, so pretty fond of Joker knives. Thanks, Joker Knives, for sending me these knives. And I will use them. I'm going to do more videos like this for you folks that just go out camping. But I'm still going to keep doing my survival stuff. Because, I mean, that's what I really love to do, is showing you the survival stuff. But there's nothing wrong with showing you some campfire hacks when you forgot everything. And just make do. Don't let it ruin your trip. And get out there, enjoy nature, respect nature, be careful with your fires. Fire season is upon us. Don't have a fire on a windy day. I think there's going to be a fire ban anyway, right away. But still, be careful with fire. I'm going to show some safety stuff, do other videos about safety around the campfire, not just hacks, cooking and this and that. So, there will be other episodes similar to show you how to improvise. Alright, thank you subscribers, thank you all you viewers, we'll see you on the next one.